Welcome back to the Quiet Millionaire, where we don't chase wealth, we regulate into it. Let's ground into something real. Have you ever noticed how even rest feels like failure? When you stop, there is a pressure inside that tells you you're falling behind, even when the world isn't watching. Maybe you call it ambition. Maybe it's anxiety you won't name. Ever feel like slowing down is more terrifying than burning out? The pause brings up a different kind of discomfort. There's an urge to keep moving, even if you know it's costing you energy, relationships, presence. There's a tension that builds every time you walk away from your phone. You know rest is the answer, but ignoring the pull for just 1 hour feels riskier than overworking for another week. Ever wonder why urgency still runs your mornings? Even though you've promised to work smarter or you've read every productivity thread, alarm goes off, your jaw is tight, already negotiating. Can I push breakfast? Can I fit in more before noon? Urgency isn't just a behavior, it's a pattern your body holds. You're running before you're awake. Today, we're not talking mindset. We're addressing what's underneath your money behavior. Not theory, not strategy. There's a nervous system running the show. It's the one measuring your worth by output. It's the reason silence gets loud. This is the cost. Emotional fatigue that doesn't heal with 1 weekend off. The grind doesn't leave your system when the laptop closes. It lingers in your shoulders, in the way you double-check what's already done, in the guilt that nips if you let things stay undone. Here's what I want you to try. Notice what happens in your body when you hear that you don't have to chase anymore. Let that settle. If your mind pushes back, stay with it. You don't have to prove you deserve calm. You just have to stay here, still, and watch what moves inside you next. That's the discipline. You've normalized burnout, called it progress. That's the sabotage pattern. Inside, you keep pushing, not because you love the chase, but because silence feels sharp. There's a comfort in always being a little bit behind. It proves you're working. It keeps the feeling of lack just far enough away. Start with the body. No matter what the spreadsheet says, your nervous system keeps score. Rest doesn't land. Meals are skipped. Breath stays shallow, even in the quiet moments. You already know this, but the pattern is so familiar, you're barely conscious of it. Here is what most entrepreneurs never say out loud every time you say yes to another request, another client, another last-minute project. It looks like ambition, but under the surface, it's nervous, unchecked scarcity. The real fear is that if you pause, the money will stop, people will forget, the market moves without you. That's how wealth building gets twisted. Decisions come from depletion, not clarity. You tolerate problem clients because the idea of an empty calendar feels unsafe. You apologize for time off. You justify every interruption. The body isn't at rest, so the strategy isn't clean. That's the cost. Checking Slack at dinner, email on the weekend, phone on in the shower. These aren't badge of honor moments. They're micro-abandonments, a signal that you're not quite safe to step back. The doing is endless, but the nervous system is stuck at half capacity. Now that we see it, let's shift. This isn't theory. This is your nervous system adapting. Let's flip this. Most people treat their breath like background noise. Nobody trains them to notice the difference between a shallow inhale and a steady, slow draw. But if you've ever tried to pour water from a full glass into another, you know it's a steady hand that keeps everything clean. When your breath is ragged, your choice is R2. So this shift doesn't begin by changing outcomes. It starts by anchoring in what you control. Here's what I want you to try. Wait a second. Unclench your jaw. Inhale through your nose, slow, until it feels just barely slower than your daily pace prefers. Hold for a count. Now exhale through your mouth. Let your shoulders settle by half an inch. Feel that? That's not a trick for anxiety. That's your nervous system retaking the wheel from your timeline. The moment you practice this, even once, your posture shifts. Your neck isn't straining forward to the next notification. Your hands aren't reaching for the next check-in or checking. This is where most people get stuck. Most never stabilize here long enough to let their mind catch up to their body. Meetings run over, emails pile up. It's normal to think, I'll calm down when things slow down. But watch, the calendar never clears itself. It's the other way around. You clear your mind with a breath, with a pause, and the calendar becomes less of a threat. You already know this, but I'll say it again. Trust is built in moments, not in months. Don't look for breakthroughs. If you anchor one calm breath before you write a check, before you send that contract, before you prep your second coffee, you're stacking clarity not just for today, but for a quieter, more regulated tomorrow. Build capacity, not speed. Most people make productivity about getting more done, stacking hours, filling to-do lists, saying yes so they feel in control. In reality, the only thing that compounds is exhaustion. You already know, busyness keeps your mind spinning, but rarely multiplies your real wealth. Let that land. Aligned restraint is the shift, choosing what actually builds, not what just burns energy. It is declining what's not right, even if it pays today. It is the quiet power of saying no and not explaining yourself. Let's walk through this. You get a client inquiry. They flash a decent retainer, but their tone is demanding. Scope keeps shifting. You already feel the clutch in your chest. Before, you would say yes, justify it as growth or opportunity. You trade your calm for their chaos. Weeks in, you're back to late-night emails and negotiating boundaries that should never have been crossed. Revenue goes up. Net peace drops. Here's what I want you to try. In that moment, stop. Notice what your nervous system is broadcasting. There's nothing to prove. You're not here to carry what isn't aligned. Turn it down. No need for drama. Just, thank you for considering me. This isn't my fit. That one move is restraint. You feel it in your body, not just your bank account. Eventually, those small, quiet no's build an income that doesn't drain you. That's the discipline. This isn't a fix. It's a frame. You measure alignment by what you keep out just as much as what you let in. Like protecting the roots of a tree, everything healthy above ground starts below, out of sight. If this shows up in your week, pause there. Return to your criteria. Is this work aligned, or is it just adding noise? The nervous system learns by experience, not theory. One step at a time. Most people are carrying scarcity in the body long before they ever see it in a bank account. You can tell by how the jaw locks up during a tough email, or the way your chest feels tight just looking at your financial dashboard. You already know this. That tension isn't random. It is the body defending against the possibility of not having enough. It doesn't matter how many spreadsheets you run, your nervous system still calls the shots. The real shift is anchoring your worth in simply being here, not in what you can prove, perform, or earn at any given moment. There's nothing to prove. When you catch yourself hustling for that invisible badge of security, pause, let the tension show up. But don't follow it down the old path. A quiet breath, shoulders down. Maybe you stand up and leave the screen for 10 minutes. That small move breaks the cycle. Take the seasoned investor, the one who sees a market drop, and stay still. No panic selling, no late night obsessing. There's a reason. They've trained for comfort in discomfort. They trust that real value builds calmly over time. It's patience in action. Like the old Zen saying goes, let go or be dragged. That's not philosophy. That's a behavioral discipline. If you want your money to compound quietly, your nervous system has to get used to not reacting immediately. That's the discipline. You'll spot it in everyday moments. A client of mine used to refresh their account balance every hour. They'd feel a physical grip across their chest, searching for reassurance. We worked on catching that tension, not judging it, just noticing. Over time, they learned to wait an extra 30 minutes, then an hour. Emotional safety started compounding alongside their balance. Let that land. Here's what I want you to try. Next time you feel driven to check, prove, or rush, pause. Ask, is this about actual risk, or am I chasing comfort? Anchor your worth in the pause. That's where quiet confidence accumulates. This isn't a fix. It's a frame. Repeat calmly every time your nervous system wobbles. Here's where we anchor the work, just as it is. You already know the 3 shifts. Breath brings steadiness. Restraint rebuilds alignment. Softening your grip on scarcity gives your body somewhere safe to land. Hold that for a moment. This isn't about chasing another tool. It's about not abandoning what's quietly working in you. If you keep checking for faster answers, you miss the real signal that your system needs peace more than pressure. That's the discipline. If this feels like less, let it land. You're building capacity to hold calm, not to stack more chaos. Most people never get here. They circle back to urgency as soon as discomfort rises. If that shows up in your week, pause there. Let yourself feel what's steady. Let it register. Here's what I want you to try, and let each one settle. Line by line. I build wealth calmly. I meet stress with breath before movement. I choose less. When I notice the urge for more, I create order, then honor it. I measure progress in how safe my body feels.